I found out that my boyfriend has had a more colorful sexual history than I was originally aware of.
that's
And
that's a very that's a very colorful way to put that. Well done.
yeah. Obviously, I won't go into too much detail about what exactly that entails.
Oh, go into all of the details that you want to. That helps. It'll help the show. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. You talk about what you're comfortable with. All right. So he had a past.
Yeah. Just did a lot of things that I wasn't really aware of, and now I just cannot help but feel this like deep sense of insecurity that I know is completely irrational. But I don't really know how to deal with that or how to get over it.
So, what if I told you I don't think it's irrational? Why do you think it's irrational?
It's all in the past. It doesn't really, like, it's not really anything that currently happens, of course. And, like, all of those things weren't things that he had wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
They were kind of thrust upon him.
Yeah. So was it an abuse situation or an assault situation?
I put it in coercion, like strong coercion.
Okay. And when you say you just recently found out, are you also wrestling with him not being honest with you, or has he been pretty straight up? It's just come in waves, if you will.
I guess it's not exactly that he had been dishonest. I guess it just never came up.
It just never came up. Yeah. Kudos to him for not leading with that. That happens sometimes these days. So I don't think you're irrational. I think we're wired to look to our right and look to our left and ask ourselves, how do we measure up? And I think it's dealing with that and working through it. But I don't think you're crazy. I don't know if that makes you feel any better, but I don't think you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I feel a little crazy.
No, you're like, no, I'm crazy. So when you kind of spin out a little bit, walk me through that.
I guess if I were to go into like a specific thing, I just had like, I wasn't angry at him, but, like I was more so angry at myself, and I had just started crying, and I don't even really know how that happened.
Tell me why you were angry at yourself.
Well, I think I just always have this constant battle in myself between a need for modesty and a need to feel desired. And in my brain, I can't do both.
Dude, that's really insightful. Is there part of you that had a picture of people who have colorful sexual past are a certain way, and now you found yourself in love with somebody, and you're reconciling that cognitive dissonance? Where you told yourself a story for a long time about these kind of people do that, and then you've met somebody that's pretty wonderful, and it's not jiving?
Yeah. That sounds about right. And I think it's a mix of, in my last relationship, it was so awful. I'd only ever had one other relationship before my current boyfriend. I think he's actually the best person on this planet ever. But my previous relationship was so awful in so many ways.
Yeah.
And he, I guess, would try and do the same thing and coerce me into sexual deviancy.
Deviancy.
And, I guess I have a way with words sometimes, and I was able to like talk my way out of it for a really long time. Is
there a little part of you that's frustrated that your boyfriend didn't have that same ability?
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's what I'm getting at. I don't want you to ever feel bad that you have a feeling.
Oh, that's hard.
I know, but when you try to avoid the actual, honest, true feeling that's sitting inside your chest, when you avoid it, when you shove it down, when you gaslight yourself and make yourself feel crazy for having a feeling, then it will come out. And sometimes it comes out in these fits of rage. Sometimes it comes out in I can't stop crying and I don't know why. You know what I mean? It will come out some way.
Mm-hmm.
And then depending on how you grew up, then if we got in trouble for feeling feelings, then now we think something's wrong with us, and you get what I'm saying? It just kind of dominoes itself. And if I go all the way up the dominoes, it's giving myself permission to feel things as they are, and then, you hear me say this on the show all the time, then go do the next right thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we have a culture that says you have to say every feeling out loud. You for sure don't, right? I have feelings sometimes that are bananas, and I know cognitively that's not true, and also my body feels it, and both of those things are okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I know I can throw a grenade at my wife, or I can throw a grenade at one of my coworkers, like, I feel this, and suddenly, I'm making them feel guilty or whatever. Let me ask you a deeper question. What is it about the external world that you feel like they get to determine how you operate? And that's kind of I said that kind of confusing. It sounds like you've outsourced your self-worth into his old girlfriends, or into his old partners, or into some picture that you're supposed to be. Why have you outsourced yourself in that way?
That's a good question. I didn't in the beginning. Like, it didn't bother me at all in the beginning, because I knew, like, he had seen, like, a lot more people than I had initially. But I really don't know. I don't know. I think there's a whole tie in just what happened in my last relationship, and deviancy being like, every guy wants this, and it's ridiculous if you believe that they don't. Even if they say they don't, they do.
Yeah.
And so now I'm kind of thinking, like, oh no, is this like something he secretly wants and that I can't give him? But and I've talked about it with him before, like, just very candidly, and he said, like, he does not want to do that stuff, and he's really, like, deeply ashamed that he had and wishes he hadn't. But
when you say deviancy, are you talking about like particular sexual acts? Are you talking about like hand holding the special way? Like, give me a ballpark here.
Things that are taboo. I don't want to go into details.
Okay.
I promised him I wouldn't tell a soul anything.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Tell a soul. Yeah, it's just me and you and a couple of million people. That's all right. So if this is too personal of a question, feel free just to say I pass. You said you fought this guy off, and I'm assuming that was figuratively and not so much literally, but maybe literally. Did you eventually relent?
No.
Okay.
There were a few things I relented on, like, I mean, I guess because I can be specific on my own. I had assumed I was going to, like, wait until marriage.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
Yeah.
And I wished I had. Well, I wished I had at least waited until my current boyfriend, but it was just this whole thing. Like, I had a whole episode of vaginismus because I was so stressed out from the whole situation.
Yeah.
And
it was your body telling you,
at.
yeah, something about this isn't right. Yeah. So, have you forgiven yourself for violating your own values?
I'm in the process of it.
Okay. Okay. I don't know if this helps. I don't think you're a bad person.
Okay.
I don't know if you don't need my approval or anything like that. I don't want it to sound like that, but I guess my encouragement to you is you're not crazy, and if you were put in a position where it was constant beratement, and you ended up going against your own set of values, and now you're looking in the aftermath like, I wish I hadn't have done that. I did, and now I'm showing up to a new relationship with somebody who also found themselves in that same situation. What I want you to always come back to is you have permission to feel what you feel. and you have permission to learn from what happened, and you're right to be cautious taking your next steps.
Mhm.
And I guess my challenge to you is to not outsource your self-worth to his old girlfriends, to him, to this old terrible boyfriend from your past that just dishonored you over and over and over and over again, and that you're able to find peace inside your own chest from the inside out.
To that point. I mean, I know pretty much what's wrong with what I'm doing. I just don't know how to actually get better.
Yeah. Have you had moments where you have that lightning bolt of him with somebody else zap into your mind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. So often that's the root of I feel we feel paralyzed by these moments because we keep imagining and then we meditate on them. And meditate sounds all spiritual and woo-woo, but basically we have that lightning bolt of a picture in our head. And I'll get overly graphic here, not to be sensational, but just to put it all out on the table. You have a picture of him that pops into your head. Maybe you and him are kissing, and you pops into your head of him with somebody else. And then you stay on it. Or maybe you're in the shower, maybe you're laying in bed about to go to sleep, and it just zaps into your mind. And then you stay with it.
Yeah.
And you go all the way down the rabbit hole of what you imagine might have happened and what it looked like and his face and their face. You get what I'm saying? You just go and you retell that story in your mind as you imagine it. And then your body doesn't really know the difference. It just starts responding as though it's happening in real time.
I see.
And so the challenge for you, I think, a challenge for all of us. I mean, this happens with people who have experienced tragedy, experience near-death experiences, loss of a loved one, unwanted sexual experiences, like what you're going through, experiencing your own unwanted sexual experience and your new boyfriend's unwanted past, right? Is the thing that happened. There's a period at the end of it. And so it's not a matter of forgetting it or pretending it doesn't exist, but it's also, I'm not going to pour gasoline on that. And so a fire with no oxygen and a fire with no fuel burns itself out really fast. And so when that lightning bolt snaps into your mind, we can't stop that. That just happens. I promise you, though, if you will work on it, if you'll work hard on it, it will, over time, it will diminish significantly. Okay? And our bodies, it's our body's way of keeping us safe by flashing those things. Remember, don't forget. And it's just our bodies are trying to keep us alive. So again, I'm not going to go to war with my body. It's just trying to keep me safe. But I am going to say, I don't need that level of safety anymore. I'm okay now. How long have you been with this guy?
2 years, just about.
Okay. So you trust him? He's safe?
Yes.
Okay.
God, he's safe.
Okay. Amazing. That's amazing. So here's what we're going to do. When your body spins up and tries to protect you, when that lightning bolt snaps in your head of him with one of his exes, we're going to exhale and we're going to immediately have a new picture that's going to replace it. And sometimes I'll say things like, nope, I'll just be walking across my house and say that. I've been doing it for so long that now I'll just whisper it, or now I can just move on without it. Or occasionally, I don't know why, I think sometimes a physical act, so I'll fidget with the middle of my shirt or with the hem of my shirt, or I'll scratch the around my thumbnail. But I have a thing that is just like a quick physical tell, and then I'll immediately have a picture of us two, you and him walking holding hands. Or the first date, or the time he dropped his ice cream and you slipped in it and you both fell down. It was hilarious. But I'm going to replace that picture that just popped into my mind to get really kind of when a parent loses a child. There's something insane. It's just disorienting about seeing a casket that small, right? And it will zap into a parent's mind over and over again. And so the challenge for a parent is to go, nope, and to immediately have a memory in queue, ready to rock and roll. And it can be the same one over and over again of the little kid driving around on a big wheel. Or for an infant grabbing your finger and holding on real tight. And so for you, it's getting a couple of pictures in your mind of you and him having a great time. And what you'll do with your mind over time, as it lightning bolts that picture in, you're like, nope. And you exhale and breathe. I'm going to give 5 or 10 seconds on the memory of us holding hands, of us running, being silly, or whatever, the first time he kissed you, whatever. I don't know what the thing is, but whatever thing brings you like a small smile to the corner of your mouth. And I'm going to meditate on that. I'm going to remember how he looked, how he felt, how he smelled, how I felt inside. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
This sounds so cheesy, but it's something you practice. And then I want you to keep some sort of journal that when you have those feelings, I feel like I'm not enough. I feel like he's more experienced than me. I feel like whenever he tells me a story or I think about him, I feel how bad I felt when it was happening to me. I'm going to write those things and get those out of my body because I get to feel them, but then I'm going to go do the next right thing. And the next right thing might be gratitude. It might be kindness. It might be just finding somebody to text and to say, hey, I just want to let you know real quick, I love you.
Oh.
But you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
It's all about not thinking about the next right thing, but doing a thing.
I see. It just takes so long.
It does. It's a pain in the butt. And I'm sorry that somebody hurt you, and I'm sorry that somebody hurt him. And I'm trusting you. I'm glad y'all found each other.
I am too.
But he's going to have to go through the same thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has he forgiven himself?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. One of the worst things is two people who sit together and they just mire in their traumatic pasts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It just becomes like goo. Just ugh.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't talk about it a lot, but I know it's something that bothers him a lot.
Yeah.
And like when I hear about it from him, it's like the worst thing I could imagine someone pressuring you to do, or one of.
And you've been there, right?
I've been there, and I was pressured to do like the same thing, and yeah.
I'm sorry you experienced that. I'm sorry somebody did that to you. That shouldn't happen like that.
No, I wish I knew that it wasn't normal.
Yeah. And sorry that you got the meta message that all guys are like that, because they're just not. They're just not. And I'm glad.
I'm still trying to work through that.
I know. And here's the deal. Your body's just trying to protect you. So even if you have those exhale thoughts where you intentionally drop your shoulders and you say, I'm not going to war with my body. You're trying to keep me safe. Thank you for trying to keep me safe. And I'm good right now.